Welcome back, guys. In today's lesson, we are starting our Tailwind CSS transition, transform and animation series. This is part 1 and we'll be covering transition and transform step by step. Everything will be beginner friendly and I'll explain every single class so you understand exactly what's going on. So this is our title. We'll give you the Tailwind transition, transforms and animations. We'll give our body a BG gray 100, which is a light gray color so our white background can stand out. Then we'll give it a P10, which is a padding, so our content doesn't stick to the edge of our browser. So this is the main title of our page, the Tailwind transform, transitions and animations. So we increase the font size by text 4SL, we increase the font width by font bold, we center the text with text center, and we give it a light blue color. So here I'm creating a container for the first example, which is going to be containing our basic transitions. P6 adds padding, BG white gives it a white background, shadow MD adds a medium shadow, rounded LD makes the corner rounded, and MB10 adds margin at the bottom. So here we're just going to be adding the heading for this part. I will give it the text 2XL to increase the font size, the font semi-bold, MB4, text gray 800. So this is for the font width, margin bottom, and for the text color. Now for the button, BG blue 500 is the background color. Text white makes the text white. PX6 and PY2 add padding on the X and Y axis, and rounded gives it a slightly curved edges. The class hover BG blue 700 means when I hover, the background becomes a darker blue. The transition duration 300 is in out tells Tailwind to animate the change smoothly for 300 milliseconds. Now we go to another container. Again, I'm using the same card structure, padding, white background, shadow, rounded edges. Alright, so we're going to give it the H2, we just write the property transition here, and we'll give it some class, increase the font size, deepen the font width, give it a text color and margin bottom. Now we'll come to the colors button. So now we'll write our button here. Alright, so this is our button. So we are going to give it some class. We'll give it a BG red 500 for the background color. We'll give it the text white for the text color, PX6 and PY2 for the X and Y axis of the padding, rounded and margin right. This hover class is the color change on the hover. Transition color means only color property should animate. Duration 300 means the change takes 300 milliseconds. So this is our next section, and we're just going to be adding our text shadow animation here. Hover shadow XL increases the shadow on hover. Transition shadow tells Tailwind to animate the box shadow instead of snapping instantly. So now I'm coming to the next section, where we are going to be checking our transform, transform, scale, rotate together, how it works. Now we're going to be adding the background color of purple for this part. We're going to give it the text white. We're going to be adding some padding for the X and the Y axis. We're going to be giving some rounded corners. So right here I'm giving it the hover rotate 6. Rotate the element clockwise, and I add the hover scale 105. It grows this button 105%. And I add the transition transform so that Tailwind knows that we're trying to rotate and scale, and then we add the duration of 300 milliseconds. Alright, this is it. You can see when I hover on it, it grows and it rotates. That's how it works. It grows and it rotates. So this is it. Let's move to our next example. So right here, we're going to be looking at more transform examples, such as the scale, the rotate, the translate, screw, origin, and GPU. So right here, we're still going to be creating a normal container that we used to create as usual. So this is our container here. We give it the P6 for the padding. Then we give it the BG white for the background color. We give it the shadow MD for a light shadow. We give it the rounded LG for rounded corners. And we give it the MB10 for the margin bottom. So this is the heading for this container: the transform, scale, rotate, translate, and screw. So let's add some style to it. So we're going to give it the text 2XL to increase the font size of the heading. Then we're going to increase the font width by typing font semi-bold to increase the font width. Next thing to do is to give it the margin bottom of 2 rem, which is MB4. Then we give this heading a color, right? Text gray 800 for a darker gray color. So then we create a container for all of them: the scale, rotate, translate, and screw. Now we'll give this container a class of flex, give it flex wrap, Then we give it item center to align it vertically, and we give it some gap of 4, which is equal to rem. Now the first phase, which is a scale example, we're going to be diving into this now. Alright, let's go. So we'll be looking at the scale 90. This is going to shrink our container when we hover on it. So first thing first, we need to give it a width. So we'll give it a width of 36. Then after the width, we're going to give it a height as well. So we target our height and give our height 20. Then we give it a background color. So we'll give it a background color of indigo and a variance of 500. Then after that, we'll give it a text white. Then we try to center the text in the box. Alright, so we call the flex to enable our centering. Alright, then we try to center it vertically by saying items center. So this item center is going to center it vertically. So we are also going to center it horizontally as well using the justify center. So it's going to center it horizontally. Perfect. So then we're going to add some rounded corners to this. So this is it. So then we call the transform. After calling the transform, we're going to write the transition transform, because we're trying to transform something here. Alright, then we write our duration. So we're going to be writing the duration 300 and add our hover effect. So when hovering on this box, we want it to shrink the box. Alright, we want the box to be shrinked 90%. So now you can see when I hover on this box, it shrinks 90%. Great. Let's go to our next example. Then this is our next example on the scale. On this part, when we hover on our box, it's going to grow. Alright, so it's going to grow by 105%. Alright, now we're going to give it some styles by giving it the width of 36, giving it the height of 20, giving it a background color of indigo 600. Now we're going to give it the text of white. So after giving it text of white, we write our flex so that we can center our item vertically and horizontally. So we center it vertically using the item center and horizontally using the justify center. We add some rounded corners using the rounded LG, and we call the transform. So after calling the transform here, we are going to write the transition transform. Then we are going to give the duration of this, so duration of 300, and we call our hover effect. So right here, when we hover on it, it's going to grow it by 105%. So you can see when I hover on this box, it grows 105%. Let's go to the next example. So now we are going to be looking at the rotate examples here. So here, this is our div for the rotate. We are going to be doing 2 examples of rotate, the clockwise rotate and the anti-clockwise rotate. So right here, when we hover on this box, is going to rotate clockwise. Alright, so let's give it some styling. So right here, we are just going to give it some width. So we'll give it the width of of 36, and we'll give it the height. It's basically the kind of the same structure we give to our scale. Right, so we'll give it the background color of rose 500. We'll give it the text white. Alright, so now we'll call the flex here so that we can center everything vertically and horizontally. Alright, so we're going to use the item center to center it vertically and the justify center for horizontal. Then we give it some rounded corners. So great, so it's looking okay already. So now we need to call the transform. After calling the transform, we need to call the transition transform. Alright, so this is it. Then we're just going to call the duration. So duration 300 and our hover. So it's right here in this hover that the magic is going to work. So here we say when we hover on this, we need you to rotate. Alright, rotate clockwise. So this is it. So you can see when I hover on it, it rotates clockwise. Great. Alright, so here we'll go to the second example that is going to rotate anti-clockwise. Alright, so we'll just create the div for this part. Alright, so here we're just going to give it the width of 36, give it the height of 20, give it the background color of rose 600. Alright, now we'll give it the text white, then we call the flex here, so then we try to center it vertically and horizontally. So item center for vertical, justify center for horizontal, then we give it some rounded corners, right, with the rounded LG. Then we call the transform and transition transform, then we call the duration of 300 and hover. So notice the difference between this anti-clockwise. We add the minus, the negative sign at the front of the rotate. This is it rotates anti-clockwise, and this rotates clockwise, anti-clockwise. Yeah, good. Let's proceed to the next example. So right here we are going to be creating a container for our translate, to do our translate x and translate y. Alright, so let's proceed. Here, translate x will move the box to the right by 1 rem. You are going to see how it's going to work. So let's give this some styling. Alright, so we'll give it the width of 36, we'll give it the height of 20, we'll give it the background color. Okay, so we'll give it the background color of emerald, the variance of 500, we'll give it the text of white, then we call the flex here to center vertically and horizontally. Alright, so we just need to call the items center to center it vertically, and the justify center to center it horizontally, and we are going to give it some rounded corners. Alright, so we'll give it the rounded corner with the rounded LG, and then we call our transform here. So after calling the transform, we call the transition transform and give it the duration of 300 as well. Then we call our hover effect. So this is our real magic here. Then we just say what? Translate x, that's translate it to the right. Alright, translate x 4. So this is when I hover on it, it moves the box to the right. You can see it's going to the right by 1 rem. So the translate y to move the box upward. Alright, so this is it. Now let's just give some custom styles that we've been given here. Alright, so we'll give it the width of 36, we'll give it the height of 20, then we'll give it the background color of emerald 600. Alright, then we give the text white. After giving the text white, we call the flex, so we can center it horizontally and vertically. So item center for vertical, justify center for horizontal, then we add some rounded corners, then we call the transform and the transition transform. Alright, next thing we do, we'll call the hover, the duration of 300, and we'll call our hover of negative translate y. So when we hover on it, it moves the box upward. It's because of the negative sign we put in front of the translate. So let's remove the negative sign. So we'll remove it. You can see that it's moving it downward now. So that's how the translate works. Great. So the key point is the translate x is for the right and left, while the translate y is for the top and bottom. So we are in our screw example. So screws, distorts, and elements. We are going to be splitting it into two parts: the x-axis and the y-axis. This x-axis is the right and left. Okay. So we are going to be giving it some custom styles as usual, right? Like the width of 36, the height of 20. We are going to be giving it a background color of yellow with a variance of 500. We are going to give it a text color of black. So let the text color be black. Great. So the next thing we need to do is just to call the flex here, so we can center horizontally and vertically. So vertically, item center, horizontally, justify center, and we'll give it some rounded corners with the rounded LG. Okay, so next thing to do is to call the transform. Alright, so we'll call our transforms here, and we'll call the transition transform. Okay, to enable our transform. Then we're just going to give the duration of 300 and call the hover here. So here we are going to call the screw x6. So this is it. Let me hover on it and you see how it screws it horizontally. Great. Screws it horizontally again, screws it horizontally, screws it again. So we come to the next part, which is screw y6. So this is for the top and bottom axis. Alright, so we'll give it a width of 36, give it a height of 20, we'll give it a background color of yellow with variance of 600, and give it a text of black as usual. Then we call the flex. Alright, we call the flex so we can center it vertically and horizontally. So vertically, item center, horizontally, justify center. Great. So now we just give some rounded corners with the rounded LG. Okay, and we are going to be calling the transform here. So we call the transforms and transition transforms. Give it the duration of 300 milliseconds and give the over. So over screw y6. So this is going to screw it vertically. So let's over on it. You see, it screws it vertically and Screws it vertically, this screws it horizontally. Great. So this is going to be the end of our part 1 series. If this video was helpful, hit the like button, comment and subscribe to be notified when we post the part 2 series. Thank you and follow for more.